Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia. Let's talk books. So I just watched Carson's last video. Her channel is always doing it. I'll link it down below. But she did a video featuring her favorite Cinnabon characters, and I was about to write a dissertation in her comment section about my favorite Cinnabon characters, and I thought, well, I'll just do a video about this with a very quick turnaround. I am currently in the middle of, well, at the start of my final exams week, so I thought this would be just a fun thing to film and to talk about here. So what is a Cinnamon Bun character? It is a super sweet character, just, you know, oozing sweetness out of their pores. It could be any gender, any sexuality. I think most of the ones I'm going to be talking about are, all of the ones I'm going to be talking about are men. I'm not sure about maybe all cis straight men, perhaps, but it doesn't have to be, as Cousin also mentioned in her video. And I think this is a great idea for a video. I think Cousin needs to turn this into a tag. What do you all think? Go let her know. So I'm going to talk about these, my favorite Cinnamon Bun characters. The first one is Saff from Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. Saff is a security guard, former sports star, and there's a fire drill at a college campus, and Saff happens to carry out our main character Dani out of a building. The picture of him carrying her out of the building goes viral, and then it turns out actually all of the attention is working really well for Saff and for the charity that he's trying to get off the ground, and so they agreed to a little fake dating. And Saff is just super sweet. He makes sure that because he's benefiting from this attention, that Dani is okay with every step in which they take. And Dani is somebody who's like, yeah, let's just do this. She's much more willing to do things, seems a little bit more, has a much more wild streak than Saff does. So he already has some liking of her, and she's just like, oh, discovers this sweet, lovely man, and it's a romance novel. Anyways, if you haven't read any of the Brown Sister books by Talia Hibbert, I highly recommend them. This is the second one. They're all really good. I still think my favorite overall of the books is the first one, but Saff from Take a Hint, Dani Brown is just such a sweet, sweet character. Love him to bits. The second Cinnamon Bun character is Gus from Can't Escape Love. This is a reluctant royals novella by Alyssa. So it's part of her modern romance series, in which she has there's royalty involved in every story somehow. This is the novella, so this actually deals with the sister, Regina, of one of the characters that gets a full book. But she has trouble sleeping. Regina has trouble sleeping, but there's this guy's voice who used to do these videos on YouTube that really helps calm her and helps her sleep. So she reaches out to him and asks him to record his voice. It turns out it's Gus, and Gus is just the sweetest guy ever. Is this explicitly talked? I think it is explicitly talked about that he is in the autism spectrum. Regina's in a wheelchair, and so there is a lot of representation going on here. All those aspects. I liked that they were there. This is not a Known Voices review, so I can't speak to the accuracy of the representation, but I just thought that Gus was so incredibly sweet. It also just checks in with her at every step of the relationship, and basically gives her control. He's just forthright and is like, hey, I'm in it. I'm here for this. But the pace of it is totally under your control, and that seems to be a common theme in the Cinnamon Bun characters that I like, and just in general, the romance novels that I like always emphasize consent, and what Cinnamon Bun characters do is just like really, really emphasize it. Now, the last Cinnamon Bun character that I'm going to talk about, it is my favorite Cinnamon Bun character in a romance novel, and this is Rafe. A buff male nanny book by Rebekah Weatherspoon. Is this one signed? Oh, this one isn't signed. Oh, I lent this book to a student, and then when I went to the Ripped Bodice, Rebekah Weatherspoon was there, and she was kind enough to sign the books by her that I was buying, and I was like, and I don't have her Rafe signed by her. But this is the story of Sloane, who's our heroine. She is a doctor and a black woman with kids. She's divorced, and she's looking for a nanny. Rafe ends up applying for the position of the nanny. He is under a lot of pressure by his just people and society to pick up a more manly job, but he just loves kids, working with kids and with their families, and it's just what he loves. He's also described as a tattooed, kind of burly man, but the kindest, sweetest person, and he is okay with, and more than okay, he celebrates Sloane for everything that she has accomplished and all the responsibilities that she has. And there could be, in this kind of relationship, there could be an issue of power dynamics, but it is handled so beautifully by Weatherspoon. I just really, really love that. I loved how sweet Rafe is. I usually don't like reading romance novels where there are kids involved. Just not my cup of tea. And yet I loved every minute of this book. I also love that there's not a third act breakup. The third act breakup is really common in romance novels, and in fact, it's part of the beats that you expect in reading a romance novel. But I found this really refreshing because it didn't have that. Instead, what you have is just two adults working through the complications of life and blended families, and doing it as mature adults do. And I love that. If you need conflict in your romance novels, then maybe this one's not for you. There's things that need to be worked out, but there's no breakup and big to do here. And so I found that really worked in this book with the way Weatherspoon handled it, and it was just beautiful. And Rafe will always be my ultimate romance novel hero. And I just realized that all of the books that I discussed in this video are contemporary romances. I've really been into contemporary romances in recent years, but if anybody can think of any Cinnamon Bun characters in historical romances, leave me those recommendations down below, because historical romance was the genre that got me into romance. So I still read historical romance. Just lately, I've just really been into contemporaries, but I need to find some Cinnamon Bun characters in historical romances. I realized a lot of those, a lot of characters in historical romances tend to be really strong, very driven women, and rogue men. So anyways, I will take all your recommendations down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.